Unfortunately, the season has come to an end for the 2022-2023 Sacramento Kings. They came up short in a Game 7 against the defending champs, the Golden State Warriors. A very entertaining series. That series was so entertaining that I made sure I didn't miss a single game of it. And the Sacramento Kings and Coach Mike Brown, they were very impressive. And even though they came up short in this Game 7, this was still a very magical season for the Sacramento Kings. Now, in terms of all the magic that has transpired for the Sacramento Kings this season, I don't even know where to start because there has been so much magic within the year for this team. And really, we can look at it in two different ways. I feel like a lot of special things has happened for this team as an organization and as a whole, as a fan base, and also some great things has happened individually for Coach Mike Brown and also individually for his players. And I think the first place where we have to start, where all the magic began, was really last year at the trade deadline when they did something a little risky, trading a player like Tyrese Halliburton, because we see how special and how much potential he has while he was playing over in Indiana, and we could really see some of that while he was playing in Sacramento as well. But I think at the time, no NBA talkhead or no NBA expert, definitely not me, we did not see Sabonis pairing this well with the Sacramento Kings. He played a huge role in getting them back to the playoffs, and then also they did a great job in the NBA draft. They did another thing that shocked the NBA world. A lot of people thought that they were going to go with Jaden Ivey instead of Keegan Murray because Jaden Ivey has such great upside, but the Sacramento Kings already have a player that plays just like Jaden Ivey with the basketball in their hands, not really a perimeter shooter, loves to get downhill, and that's De'Aaron Fox. So it really wouldn't have made that much sense to go out and draft Jaden Ivey. And so you bring in Keegan Murray, and he fit like a glove for the Sacramento Kings, and I thought he was very, very impressive in the Golden State Warriors series. You could really see him adapt and evolve as the series went on. I feel like in the first couple games, he was kind of finding his way, getting used to that type of atmosphere. And as it went all the way up to Game 7, Keegan Murray continued to play better and better. And I love his play style specifically for the Sacramento Kings because offensively, he doesn't need the basketball in his hands to do much scoring. He was on pace to break the rookie record for three-pointers in a single season, so he was lining it up from beyond the arc, and whenever he did have to put the basketball on the floor, he made quick and concise moves. He never needed to dribble the air out of the basketball. Great cutter, great finisher around the rim, and he was also able to get involved in the dribble handoff actions. And then defensively, he's a rookie that could guard 1 through 4. He might be able to guard 1 through 5. He can move his feet. He can play defense on the block. He can block shots. He can get in the passing lane. So Keegan Murray had a very solid rookie year, and I think the Sacramento Kings did a great job by drafting him. And they didn't stop there in the offseason. Before we go any further in today's video, I would love to talk to you guys about today's sponsor, a digital security company called Aura that specializes in cyber security. Now, me personally, I've been using the app for about 8 months now, and I admit that I absolutely love it. And one of my favorite things about Aura is the simplicity of its app. It's very easy to use and very easy to navigate, and besides from that, it literally keeps all of your digital belongings safe. I'm talking emails, phone numbers, passwords, credit card information, SSN. It keeps all of those things safe and makes sure that it doesn't get exposed to the dark web. And if for any reason it ever does get exposed to the dark web, Aura notifies you immediately via email, call, text, whatever you prefer, so you can get on top of that. And today, if you guys want, and I definitely recommend, you could try Aura for free 14 days. All you have to do is click the link in the description or in the comment section, and you can get a free 14-day trial. And now we can get back to the video. They also brought in Malik Monk. They signed him, and they brought in Kevin Huerter via trade. So I think these two moves was great as well because these two players really do a lot of the same things, and both of them played a huge role in getting the Sacramento Kings into the playoffs and forcing a game 7 against the defending champs. And we look at Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk as far as their play styles. They're both great spot-up shooters, and they can play without the basketball, which we all know is so important with the Sacramento Kings because they have De'Aaron Fox, who can play with the ball in his hands, and then Sabonis has proved to us that he's one of the best playmaking bigs in the league, probably the second best after Nikola Jokic. He did a great job distributing the basketball this season, so it's very important for these two guys to be able to knock down their spot-up shots. And then also offensively, it's a little bit more of a bonus because these guys can put the basketball on the floor and they can operate the pick and roll and they can create for themselves and they can set up their teammates. So I think what the Sacramento Kings did in the offseason, at the time, I was like, okay, this is a very solid offseason. And I thought it was going to push them like around to the 7th seed, or 7 seed playing tournament, somewhere in that rank, but they took it all the way to the 3rd seed, and they had a very fantastic season, and I think the offseason played the biggest role in that. So I think that's where all the magic started, and then we saw the season happen, and it just continued to get better and better for the Sacramento Kings. So we talked about the offseason, and earlier in the video I also mentioned how this was a great season for the Sacramento Kings, like as a whole, as an organization. So what really stood out to me from this season is, first of all, in a very loaded Western Conference that has LeBron James, has Nikola Jokic, has Ja Morant, has Stephen Curry, the Sacramento Kings were able to play well enough, stay healthy long enough to have the 3rd best record in the Western Conference. They finished with a record of 48-34, so that by itself I thought was pretty impressive. And then also I just kind of liked how the season gradually went on, and the Sacramento Kings started to play better. We just saw this fan base come together, and I promise you, man, the Sacramento Kings, in my opinion, like watching the first round of the playoffs, I think they had the best crowd presence out of all the 16 teams that were playing. It was just very loud after every shot. I remember in game 1, like after every rebound, or especially if it was an offensive rebound, the crowd would go crazy. So I thought the atmosphere that they had this season was just magical. And then also getting into the playoffs is very tough in today's NBA because it's so competitive. Anybody can win on any given night, and then they push the Golden State Warriors. I don't think we give the Golden State Warriors enough credit to how good they are and how long they've been doing it for. I don't think it's no shame in the Sacramento Kings losing to those guys in a game 7, because we look at the Sacramento Kings, it's not really much playoff experience there. It's a very young ball club, and to take those guys to a game 7, I thought that was very, very impressive. So I thought they did a great job. Oh, and another thing I have to add about what they did as a whole, I believe the Sacramento Kings, they definitely had the best offense in all of the NBA this season statistically, and I can't remember if they said it was the best offense of all time or not, but definitely had one of the most efficient and one of the best scoring offenses in NBA history. So they did a great job this season. And now we're going to get into some of the things that has happened, some magic that has happened individually for Coach Mike Brown and his players. So I want to start with Coach Mike Brown, who did a great job with the Sacramento Kings this season. From the day that he came into training camp, he brought great energy, and he brought great wisdom and knowledge to this basketball team, and he coached so well this year that he earned himself the Coach of the Year award. And I think he definitely deserved that 100%, just because looking at the circumstances and the expectations, he just shattered them and exceeded them. So congratulations to Coach Mike Brown on winning Coach of the Year. I think it was well deserved. And then we look at some of the players on this team. I think they had spectacular seasons individually. We look at Keegan Murray as a rookie. I think he exceeded expectations because he was able to slide into the starting five, and he played a huge role on the Sacramento Kings getting into the playoffs. His three-point shooting was unbelievable for a rookie this season, and then just affecting the game of basketball in little ways that you don't really know unless you're watching it, because a lot of the things that he does not show up on the box score. So Keegan Murray, he did a great job this year. He made the All-NBA rookie team, and it was definitely well deserved. And then we also look at a guy like Sabonis, who I think had a very spectacular season. I believe he led the NBA in double-doubles, and he led the league in rebounds this season. And also his playmaking abilities, or the way that he created plays this season, was off the charts. And it was something we didn't really, something that, or at least I didn't really know he could make plays like that until I was watching him with the Sacramento Kings this year. Just putting passes in the right spots, and then that dribble handoff, him doing the dribble handoff and then setting that pick right after frees his guys up so much. And they got a lot of open three-point shots just off running that action. And he just can put the ball on the floor, and he could be really effective with the basketball in his hands. He made the All-Star team this year, so it was a spectacular season for him, and he's still pretty young, man. He could definitely continue to get better. And also, De'Aaron Fox, I think he had a spectacular season individually. Now, he made the All-Star team as well. I believe he averaged about 26 points per game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. And at first, he was snubbed, and if someone didn't get injured, he went ahead and made the All-Star game. And I think that was ludicrous. I think he should have been in with the original guys that was picked. But very special season for De'Aaron Fox. What stood out to me from him is what he was able to do in the fourth quarter. There was a bunch of times, I like LeBron James, so I watched almost every Lakers game, and De'Aaron Fox, in almost all 4 of them games, he did something crazy in the fourth quarter. So what he was able to do as far as down the stretch and during clutch situations, it was ridiculous. It was like he was determined to get to his spots, and it wasn't going to be anything you could do to stop him. So and much deserved. He ended up winning the first ever clutch player of the year award, and then also it was his first time getting to the playoffs, and he played in the game 7. So a very spectacular year individually for guys, and also as an organization. I think the Sacramento Kings did a great job. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason for them, because I feel like they definitely upped themselves in a few tiers, and they probably feel like they can contend for a title now. So I'm definitely thinking they're going to make some more moves to improve their roster. That'll be something we could talk about in a different video, but that's going to be it, man. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man. And that's curtains.